The next 6 months in Fernie real estate, what you need to know. How in the world are we going to survive the next 6 months in the Fernie real estate market? If you're a buyer or a seller right now, you are feeling the tension. We just came off of a February where the benchmark price for a detached home hit $967,000. Yet we only saw 3 actual sales in the entire month. That is a statistical stalemate. Now, there's a window of opportunity that opens every spring, but in 2026, that window is narrower than I've ever seen it before in my career. I'm talking to people every day who were unsuccessful in 2025 because they were playing by a set of rules that no longer exist in the Coonies. Today, I'm going to give you the survival guide for the next 6 months. And I want you to be the one who actually closes a deal while everyone else is just staring there, sitting, watching the listings. So let's get into it. Now, you're going to see the headlines from national outlets like Korea, CBC, National, whatever news that you watch, saying it's all going to say that inventory is rising across the country. And it's true. Nationally, 2026 is seeing more homes hit the market. While national inventory is climbing, Fernie is a different animal. According to our February data release, our months of supply is sitting at approximately 14 months because the sales volume is so low. That means that while there are more homes for sale, they aren't actually selling. We are seeing a spike in buyer curiosity, but a flat line in buyer commitment. And if you're a seller, you aren't just competing with the house down the street, you're competing with the buyer's fear of the Fernie premium. To survive the next 6 months, you're going to have to understand that inventory in the Coonies right now is a ghost. It's there, but it isn't moving. This next section is the most important part of this video, and quite frankly, it's the part many of you will hate. But to be the #1 trusted realtor, I have to be honest. You need a plan B before you ever hit the MLS. I ask every seller this question: are you more committed to your price, or are you more committed to your next chapter? In Fernie, everyone says both. But in a market with only 3 sales a month, you can't have both. If your house doesn't move in 30 days, what's your next pivot? Are you going to drop the price? Are you going to pull it and turn it into a long-term rental for mine employees? Or are you going to just stay put? If you don't have that strategy in writing on day one, you aren't a seller. You're just a homeowner with a sign in your yard. And in 2026, the market's going to punish the indecisive. So let's talk about pricing properly. Everyone thinks their home is the exception. You see a neighbor in Alpine Trails sell for a record high, and you assume your place in the annex just went up by $100,000. Hate to break it to you, 2 entirely different things, and your house did not do what you think it did. Buyers in 2026 are highly educated. They know the difference between renovated and refreshed. If you overprice your house by even 3%, I promise you, especially in Fernie, you will trigger the thin market surge and get multiple offers. But if you overprice by 3%, you will get 0 showings. Not low offers, 0. And in this market, if you haven't had a showing in 14 days, the market has already told you the answer. You're overpriced. You can't negotiate with silence. So when an agent gives you feedback and says, the buyer liked the house, but they're worried about the road noise on Highway 3, or the floor plan felt a bit closed off, what are they actually saying? Well, tell you what, they're telling you that your house is too expensive. You can't move the highway. You can't easily knock down load-bearing walls. So if the only variable left is the price. Buyers use flaws as an excuse to walk away from a price that they don't believe in. And if you hear the same feedback 3 times in a row, it's a direct order from the market to adjust your expectations. Time is not your friend in the Coonies. The longer you sit, the more people wonder what's wrong with your house. So now let's pivot to something unique to our region. And that's the Glencore EVR factor. So we're seeing a shift in the workforce with 35-year extension. Fording River, big news. What that's going to mean, we'll see in the future here. But while the rest of the country is worried about tech layoffs, we have industrial stability. However, we are still seeing high interest rates, fluctuating coal prices, and the stress test that will disqualify local buyers. This creates high stakes negotiation environment, and we are seeing more best and final offers. Buyers are tired of the drama, and they're not willing to put in an offer to try and drag somebody up and negotiate from a price that they truly believe is real. They're making one strong offer and they're walking away if it isn't accepted. As a seller, if you get an offer that's within 5% of your target, take it. To walk away 7 times like it's a car dealership in the 90s, this is business 101. A deal today is worth significantly more than a maybe in July. So here's the hidden deal killers: insurance and appraisals. To survive the next 6 months, you need to watch the hidden items. First of all, home insurance. This is killing deals in the Kootenays right now. If your home has a 25-year-old wood shake roof, or a history of basement seepage during the spring, old electrical boxes, oil tanks in your yard, your buyer might not be able to get insurance. And if they can't get insurance, they can't get a mortgage. Simple as that. Second, escrow timelines. Shorten your contingency periods. I'd recommend 14 to 21 days for subjects, depending on time of year and statutory holidays, and 30 days for closing. We could probably do it in 14. 30 is plenty. Now, why? Because a lot can change in 60 days. If your buyer loses their job at the mine or in Calgary 3 weeks before closing, your deal's dead, and you've just wasted 2 months of prime spring market time. Cross-qualify your buyers with a local lender if you can. Find one that understands the Elk Valley economy. Now, the sunk cost trap. Finally, don't get trapped by your sunk costs. You might have spent $40,000 on a custom Tuscan-style kitchen back in 2012. I hate to tell you this, but it's a 2026 buyer. They're not into the Tuscan style that you put in there. That's just dated. They don't appreciate it and they don't want it. They aren't going to pay a premium for your history. They're looking at the next 5 years, not your last 10. You need to make conservative, high-impact improvements like a fresh coat of cloud white, paint or updated lighting, and leave the major guts to the next person if you want to get out with your equity intact. So what's the good news, Belze? Well, we are starting the spring cycle with a lot of curiosity. The buyers are out there and they're just waiting for a reason to say yes. If you price logically and present your home as a lifestyle solution rather than a financial burden, you will win. And if you want to see the actual raw data I'm looking at, the February reports for Fernie, Sparwood, Cranmer, Kimberly, comment data below and I'll send you my March breakdown. And make sure to subscribe, because next week we're going to be talking about the top 5 regrets people have moving to the Kootenays. I'm Craig Bell, and keep it classy, Fernie.